Now I will be talking about and reviewing and telling my ideas for an improvement for the 1994 Mighty Morphin Power Rangers SNES game. First, my memories with it. Seeing a video game magazine, well, it's not seeing it, reading through it, seeing the advertisement, and lighting up, waiting for it. Finally comes out, I go to Hastings, I rent it. No, I did not buy the game, I rented it. I'm grateful I did. It was way too easy. This is one of those games that they actually gave a low level of difficulty. You get infinity continues, there's a password for every time you beat a level. You're going to beat that on your first playthrough. That probably is why everybody who paid full price for that game when it kind of came out, when it came out, probably feel like they got gypped. I mean, seriously, you could beat on your first playthrough. That's why it was one of those games you wanted to rent, not buy. Of course, back then, that was how it worked, but these days, you basically wish you did buy it because stuff goes up in value as time went on. But we didn't know that back then with video games. We just thought there was, oh, that's going to be comic books or baseball cards. But with video games, and well, after I played and beat it, I ran it again for some reason, played through and beat it again. I guess I was just bored. I saw it. I just, didn't want to leave empty-handed, so I just gave it another playthrough and beat it again. Then after that, I just flat out forgot about the game until I was going through a game store. I saw it for sale. This was back in the mid-2000s. This is when I really played it. I bought it, came home, and then started replaying every level with a different ranger. I actually went through multiple playthroughs with always a different with a different ranger. I was trying to do a different number of combination plays and all that stuff. Yeah, but I always did the Red Ranger at stage area 5. That's their areas, not stages. Okay. And well, I was having a blast doing this, but after that, I finally got tired of playing it, and I haven't touched that game since 2004, 2005. So yeah, it was like 20 or 21 years ago when I last played that dang game. But anyway, it's fun, it's short, it's easy. But yeah, those are the three. And those are actually three problems that I have with it, even though I really do like the game. Area 1 is just a straight out level. You go forward. You gotta go forward almost every level. Some levels you go up, some levels you go down, but you never go. I don't think you go to the. Was it? Wait. I think it's the right. Well, this side. I always get that direction mixed up. The right side of the screen. Okay, you just go left. I don't know why I went through that. Oh crap. But anyway, Area 1, straightforward level. Putty patrols are the regular enemies. There's a part where you can destroy a car, or excuse me, two vehicles. One's the one the putties show up on, and the other one is just one you can do for the heck of it. It's kind of there just for fun, but you can imagine that. People lining up saying, the Power Rangers here, the Power Rangers are destroying my car, the Power Rangers just blew up my car, what the heck? Yeah, I'd be pretty mad too. The first boss is Bones. Bones is easy as heck, and I think he only has like 2 attacks in stage 1. Stage 2, he loses his arms, and he just has 1 attack. Stage 3, he's just a skull. He still only has 1 attack. Level 2 is Gnarly Gnome. Level 2 is a lot better than 1, but I think the music is not as, I will say, what do you mean I think? The music is not as good as the first level. In fact, I think the first level has the best music. Yeah, I do. Well, Gnarly Gnome's the second boss. He's easy too, but he does something that catches my attention. After you hit him a number of times, he starts teleporting all over the place. And that is something that caught my attention, which makes me smile at that, but not the rest of the boss fight, because, once again, he's too easy. He only has, like, 2 attacks. I think he just does that with that spiked rake and the accordion, which he does that, which sends those 2 waves. If he has a 3rd attack, then that means after all these playthroughs, I still have not seen it. Level 3 is the sewer level, so I guess Angry Video Game Nerd is not going to be crying over this one, because this one's pretty easy. Oh, man, is it easy. It's the only level where you can swim, but I don't even know why they even have that in there. There's only like 1 part where you have to, that it has any danger, where there's a spike on the top, spike on the bottom. You just got to get between it, make sure when the water's too low not to go, wait for it to be rising, or when it's lowering down, just go right between them. Boss's eye guy, he is a two-stage boss fight. He just throws eyes, shoots energy balls. He'll jump up and try and land on top of you. You get him defeated. You get his body defeated, but his giant eye still stays, and it just shoots one energy balls at you. Then the next level is the level that has the music that I'm like, seriously, guys, you gotta start off with that. It's still good. The genie, who I always call Wolf Genie, is the boss. And he has, I think, 4 attacks. He'll like do these 2 discs that shoot down. He'll summon the daggers. He'll send those 3 dragon-like things. There's a 4th attack, but I flat out forgot. Dang it! I hate it when that happens. Well, there's a 4th attack. I think there is. Yeah. Okay. He's not that hard either. He does have multiple attacks, but he's still pretty easy. He just goes teleport from the left and right side of the screen, and oh goodness, this 5th stage is probably the coolest stage in the game. It's my favorite, even though I like the music in Area 1 the best. But oh god, what was I gonna say? Dark Warrior's the boss. He basically has 2 weapons, that sword and that thing that item, I forgot what you call it. It's got like that scythe blade on it, with that chain with the ball at the end. Unfortunately, he doesn't really have that cannon that he had in the show. That's what always caught my attention when he just stuck out and fired it. The fact that they didn't have that in there, because if they do, it's not really what I want it to be, because I can't remember, but I really like the cannon on that arm. That's what helped him stand out as the character that he is. That big... It was cool. Okay, after that, then we finally get to the Zord fights. Only Area 6 and Area 7 have them. First, you have to take on Mutitis, which I will admit I never really was all that big that he was in the game, because I really was like, wait a minute, this is when Tommy showed up. The first 5 bosses get a pass for Tommy not being in the game, because yes, there is no Green Ranger, but still, I don't like the idea that you're putting in characters that were introduced after Tommy got introduced, because they are like, no, it feels like you guys were just basing this off the first 16 episodes, but then you threw in 2 boss fights that were only there because those were Megazord-only battles in the show. But still, I would have preferred you use other characters instead of those 2, because that would have been a better idea for a sequel, that you start introducing bosses when Tommy got introduced. And, yeah, Mutitis is Area 6, and this is more like a fighting game kind of thing, but only with 1 round. Why did I almost have 2 fingers up? Well, you beat him, basically with the Megazord, the energy, and the weapon energy, you let it build up and build up. You can use, that's how you use your projectile attacks. There's like a line to divide them up. You let them go all the way up, or you just let it up one at a time. And they have the same thing, so they can do the same thing. You can block, they can block, but for some reason, I always never blocked. I don't know, I've always been that way with fighting games, with that blocking. Unless you're pushing back, but if you do, I forgot, because I haven't played the game in 20 years, or if you press that button. The button that's always got me, that's why I always sucked at blocking in Mortal Kombat, because there's a block button instead of just holding back. I always forget, always. And, what's his face? Okay, Cyclopsis is the final boss. Goldar Zord. So it's going by the rule that Goldar is the final boss, but he's piloting Cyclopsis. Not that I have a problem with Cyclopsis being the final boss, but to me, it should have just been Goldar himself as a giant, with that sword of his, the wings, him having a really good attacks and all that stuff. But Cyclops is the final boss. Cyclops is still a really good final boss, and he's the only boss that actually is truly a 2-stage boss fight. I mean, okay, the other bosses, like Bones and Eye Guy, have 2 stages. Not only know him unless you count that teleportation thing going on. But yeah, he's the only boss when you get all his energy down, you do the finisher, but he blocks it, and he gets 2 spikes right here, 2 spikes on his arms, and he just changes colors, and he has new attacks. Or at least I think he does, but, well, now they're new. I probably have to watch that long play again. God, I haven't played the game in 21 or 20 years. Oh, goodness. Well, once you beat him, you get the ending, which is nothing more than the Rangers driving down the road as it's going, as the sun's like is setting. Then it just shows them at the juice bar partying, celebrating their victory. Not a bad ending, but yeah, it ain't great, but it's something. Okay, I do really like the game, and yes, it could have been better. It could have been longer. I understand why they only wanted to do 5 levels, because there's 5 rangers in the game, and they wanted to go by the rule that you have a chance to play as each ranger for each level, since it's always a level select. But players select at the beginning of each stage, except for those Megazord fights. You have no choice but to play as the Megazord. You can't play as the T-Rex Zord, because the T-Rex Zord is the only Zord of those, is the only Zord that actually has a finisher that shoots to the ground and hits the enemy, and it looks like they fade away out with the disintegrating at the same time. Pretty silly. Well, if I would have made it, what I would have done is, I would have had a Zord fight a Megazord fight after you beat the boss. Now, because all the bosses in the game, except for Bones, do have a giant form, or do have a giant Megazord battle. With Bones, I would have gone by the rule that once you defeat him, that giant, that's only credited as giant, in the same episode would have showed up and you just fight him. There would have been a Megazord fight against not only Gnome, but I probably would have gone by the rule every time it's a Megazord against the monsters, they would always have a new set of attacks. And I probably would have just gone by the rule that their energy for each one starts going down slower, just to get the bosses tougher. But I would have added 2 more monsters and Goldar. I would have added King Sphinx. I probably would have squeezed him in between. I probably would have put him in level 4, just like splice it, roll it up, and then put a new level 4 in there. And now area 4, areas, they're called areas. Area 4 is now Area 5. Then I would have taken Wolf Genie and Dark Warriors and cut them, and then put in a new level, which would have had with the Industrial Park level where you fight New Titus. I hope I'm saying his name right. But this time he would be replaced with Nasty Knight. And then I would have the final level, which would be Rita's Palace, but you fight Goldar, and then you do a Megazord fight with him, and he's the final boss. The reason I picked Goldar is because Goldar's her top minion. To me, for the first game, he would be perfect for the final boss. Because I'm actually under the impression, or that's what I say, even though because there's no Tommy, I think it would have been a better idea if this first game for the Super Nintendo, would have been based off the first 16 episodes, and that's why I believe it's how it would make sense why Tommy and the Dragon Zord are not in it, because they use monsters for the first 5 levels that are only in the first 16 episodes. It's only the 2 Megazord boss fights that appear in the game that when Tommy was after Tommy got introduced. But once again, Cyclopsis would have been perfect for a final boss in another Power Ranger games. Okay, for the next one, I probably would have had Tommy as the final boss. But the rule would have been is with the final battle, you always fight him with Jason. You're not allowed to do any player select because they're a one-player game, and it's always against Tommy using the Dark Sword. And then the third game, that's when I would have had Cyclopsis as the final boss, but going by the rule that game's only based on the first season. And that's how I would have done it. I would have gone by the rule. I understand we're in Season 2, and now we're in Season 3, but I want to base these 3 games off the first season. If we would have gotten 3 games like that, that would have been awesome. But we only got 1 every year. We actually got 1 for the SNES in '94. Then we got Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie, which to me is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 2. I think Ivan Ooze was actually added while the game was in development, so they could just sell it for the movie. And then Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the Fun Edition. And if you beat Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie on hard mode, it says look for Power Rangers 3, so that's what makes me think, okay, Mighty Morphin was obviously just supposed to be based off Season 2, and I think the Rita and Zed were supposed to be the final bosses. And they just go, no, put Ivan Ooze in it, okay, that will sell better, because the movie comes out right that year. Movie came out in June 30th, 1995, and according to Power Rangers Wiki, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie for the SNES actually came out on June 23rd. So I'm definitely believing that Ivan Ooze was added at the last minute because they wanted to sell it as a movie instead of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 2 based on Season 2, which I actually would have liked better. I don't mind the boss fight with Ivan Ooze in that game, but still, it was not Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie. It was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 2. And I'll talk about that game and the Fine Edition another time. Thanks for watching, and I hope I did not make you go, oh god, this guy sucks.